Hello everyone, welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. By popular demand, you guys have requested that I fly around Chernobyl. It was a lot of comments were left and upvoted, so that is what we're going to do today, mainly going over to the nuclear power plant, which was the site of a disaster in April of 1986. So, to get going, we're going to start in our Cessna 172, the G1000 edition, with a cold start. And we'll turn our battery on and make sure our avionics are off. Then we can get the beacon light on to let everybody know we got some power going to the aircraft. And then let's go ahead and prime the engine. So that mixture full rich, the fuel pump on. And pump off, and we can pull the mixture. But we're going to need it anyway, so I'm just keeping it in rich. Oil pressure rising. Go ahead and lean the mixture just a little bit and get our RPMs down to 1,000. Now we can turn the avionics on. And I love that they actually has to initialize the system. You got the Garmin G1000 splash screen and everything popping up first. Thought that was pretty cool. Usually, when you turn these G1000s on, from my experience, the map just comes up automatically, but this is more what a Garmin would actually do. So we're currently heading over to runway 33. We're at UKKM, which is Gostomel Airport. And this is the airport we'll be using to head over to Chernobyl. Now, I think what brought this kind of back into pop culture was there is a show that targets the whole disaster that happened back then. And so that was, I think, on a lot of people's minds. And to my surprise, that ended up in the comments section, and a lot of people wanted it, like I said. So that's what we're going to do. So we're about to get onto the active, turning on the landing lights and the strobe. And we'll line up. Now this sim has actually had me starting to consider some new rudder pedals, because I'm using the Saitek rudder pedals. I've had them since 2014, so they've also seen some age. But I just feel like I can't get the corrections that I want. And I've heard from people who came from these and got more high-end ones that you can definitely feel the difference. And I think it might be time for me to do that. So just have to bear with me on some of these takeoffs. Not too bad. It just, I feel like I can't correct it the way I want to. It kind of overcorrects itself. We had a perfect lineup, but I needed a rich. I need to reach for the mixture there to make it rich, so we get a little crooked there. But all right, let's power up and take off out of here for Chernobyl. Beautiful looking day here, as always, with the clouds of Microsoft Flight Simulator. Taking a peek out the windows on the way out of here, but I think as flight simmers we like to look out the windows on departure, but that'll often hurt your flight a little bit. But yeah, just staying up with the runway. And now we'll be heading north, and mainly the reservoir we're going to see, I think it's pronounced the Kiev Reservoir. That's the big reservoir that you can follow to get up there. But I guess I would suggest this airport, one of the closest. They all kind of seemed, all the ones around it, kind of seemed the same distance. so I picked this one. And that airport was an example of one that wasn't one of the handcrafted ones that you've seen, and they still look good. I mean, I have had no complaints on any airports I've seen yet. They still look really good. Same for the areas. And where we're going today, this is also not one of those handcrafted, doctored up areas. So you can also get a glimpse at that. Man, these clouds are looking really good. Currently running the resolution at 1440. I am running the medium settings for this, but I did boost the trees to high and the volumetric clouds to high, just because I want to see those with a little more detail. But looking even at medium, this is how it looks. And I'm getting about 35, 38 frames consistent on this flight here right now. You know, you see a little bit of stuttering and maybe some frame drops as you shift views. You know, like now that I'm looking out the pilot's window here. But then a little smoother on the co-pilot side. I can definitely see the difference in that. Okay, so just ahead is going to be Chernobyl. You can't really see it just yet, but we're approaching it. And we'll do a few passes over there. Definitely want to get a nice look at it and see how it is. I can already tell the shape of the water and the land is looking pretty good. I had a few glimpses of it on Google Maps and also watched a few videos. Now, like I said, this disaster happened in April of 1986, and basically, the individuals that were operating the reactor, they did something that they weren't supposed to do. It was improper protocol of using the reactor, and because of that, the reactor got exposed, and it spread radiation everywhere, way widespread radiation into other, I think it even reached other countries. It was really bad. A lot of people got hurt, sick, and dead from this disaster. And just a really terrible thing that happened, and I believe the Russians at the time were trying to cover it up, but this was on such a bad magnitude that there was no way they could lie about it, because it was affecting tons of people. So it became world news, and they didn't want that because, you know, the Cold War was going on at the same time. This didn't help anything for them. But unfortunately that happened. And I believe I heard the radiation at the reactor site is so bad that you wouldn't be able to visit it for something like 20,000 years. It's so bad. And I'm not too certain on like how far people are living away from here, but I know the area is still filled with radiation, and you can't really go there. So I think that's why there's some interest too in flying above this. I've seen people do drone shots and things like that, but kind of cool that you can get in here on a plane and fly around to check it out. Some people might want to develop this area a little further, because I think that the actual nuclear power plant site, there are some like weird things going on with the terrain. But you know, for this, like I was saying, for this to be an area that hasn't really had any extra, you know, care to it, like let's say the pyramids in the last video, you know, it's still really good. Because if you were to get in Prepared right now or X-Plane 11 and go to this area, you'd go, oh, I get it. I get it. This is a sim in the right direction, you know. I think this sim is an excellent starting point like we've never seen before. So to build off something like this that's already pretty good, I can't imagine in years from now where the simulator is going to be. You know, because the sims we have now, like X-Plane 11, like Prepared, they've been developed on for so long that when a new version comes out, scenery and planes are already being pushed to that version. So this is brand new and starting off so well that I just, you know, I can't even imagine where it's going to go from here. So this is another pass around the area. My first flight in the Ukraine, by the way. Thank you to everybody who suggested this. And like I've been saying, I am excited to really go exploring places I never have before. And I'm a lot more into the VFR right now. My favorite plane is the 738, so I don't have that at the moment. So of course I'm doing a little more VFR. Would like to get an A320 video out to you guys soon. Probably in a storm, I would hope. At least the takeoff portion or something like that to demonstrate the storms and windshield effects and all that. But this G1000 172 is pretty nice. I'd like to see a steam gauge version still. But I think this is the nicest G1000 aircraft I've flown. Easier to have some track IR right now to do these views, but I don't have the track IR. I have the head track no IR, but I tried it out a little bit, but it's just not as smooth as I want it to be, you know, for the filming purposes. It might be alright just for flying, but to film it and showcase something, I didn't want to use it. Also using the Thrustmaster T16000M on this flight. I've been using that stick a lot lately. Actually, really enjoy using it. Have a Yoko yoke and such, which I haven't tried yet, but kind of just enjoying not having a yoke on my desk for right now. I know I probably removed it from my desk at the wrong time with this simulator dropping, but I could always plug it back in and use it. But I'm just enjoying having the stick off to the side, keyboard in front of me, and mouse and such like that. Actually, using my desk like a real desk, because I've had a yoke sitting on my desk for about 6-7 years, so it's kind of nice to have a break. Now, the amusement park that's out this way that has a Ferris wheel, I did not see the Ferris wheel. We're not looking at that area right at the moment, but it's just around here, and I didn't find the Ferris wheel. But that's okay. And like I said, stuff like that people could add if they really want to, if this is a place people are really going to be interested in flying to. Somebody can develop it a little further, or you know, again, this is beta. I don't know how much more is going to be done with things, so I couldn't tell you. But with that, we're gonna fly up to there's like a little town up here. Not sure what town that is, but it looks kind of cool from the distance, so we can go do a pass over there too. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I should cover. I told you my settings, the resolution I'm running at. But graphically, very pleased. Again, if you didn't hear, medium settings right now. The volumetric clouds on high and the trees on high, but everything else is around medium, and it still is extremely presentable. And I'm just running it on that so I can get a little bit better frames for the video here. But already the variety of content on the channel, just 3 to 4 videos in, has changed. I'm visiting places I've never have before, that have never been on the channel. And like I said, they're worth exploring now. I mean, it's just so cool that you can fly in this environment. I remember when Google Maps first came out, the aerial view. I think I was in high school then, and I was so blown away by that you could go and you can go look at your house, and you could see like everywhere. I mean, I remember spending hours on there just looking at different stuff, you know. And I think this is kind of like that, but now you're in this 3D environment. I mean, pretty soon, when VR is released, you're basically going to be able to do VR in, you know, like Google Map world, even though this is Bing. But you know what I'm saying, like in that environment. It's going to be pretty exciting. VR has reached a decent point at the right time with this sim nearing release. Now, I'm not sure about this town. This might be some of the abandoned areas. I don't know. I don't know too much about the towns and where they're at with that. Although I think there is one off on the outskirts, which is supposed to be safe. But I don't know that people live here. This might just be people that had to get up out of here. But people, you know, who know more about this, who've seen the show, who live there, who've lived through it, they would know more about it than I would. So that's going to conclude our passes around here. We're going to go by one more time on our way out. And we'll just head back to the airport. I want to make sure I have enough fuel to get back. The whole flight it's a little over an hour, like an hour and 15. Further than I expected, or it took a little longer than expected to get up here. But also, you know, if you want to just show up here, you can. It's not marked on the map, but you could set a waypoint right here, and you could load the plane in like 1,500 feet above and immediately start flying in this area. I thought it would be cool to actually head out from an airport. Being the last video in Egypt, we just started out, you know, at the pyramids already. So with that, we're on our way back to the airport. I'll see you when we're a little closer, and we'll do a landing and call it a day. Okay, so back in the vicinity of UKKM, going in to runway 33 again. Couldn't find if this was a left or right traffic pattern, but it's okay. We're going to come in from the right and turn base. A little bumpier over here. The wind really bounces you around, I've noticed. I don't know what I have the wind set out right now. I'm not running the live weather. I am just running like a kind of a broken cloud preset. so I'm not exactly sure what the wind is at this altitude at the moment. But it really makes you work. It makes you work on that trim, trying to keep it level. But we'll be on a descent in just a moment. That little drop frame right on the touchdown. That's usually the culprit of smoke, but I don't know that there is smoke that comes out of the tires just yet. It could, I just haven't seen it. But in my experience, yeah, when you get that frame, that drop right at landing, there's like smoke or something it's rendering real fast. But not too bad. That was fun. Thanks, guys, for suggesting this one. Gets me out of my comfort zone and into a new area that I haven't been before. So the other taxiway, I think, is way up there, so this gives me a chance to do a back taxi, which I haven't done yet on a runway in this sim. So I'd like to see how a full U-turn feels. Cool, not bad. Turns better. Turns easier than the Caravan. As it should, I suppose. So like how the visors are the see-through kind, and you can actually see through them. You can see the clouds up there. Didn't notice that you could move them though, unless I was in the wrong click spot. And again, I don't know what's final and what's not to say, so I'm at this point really just reserving all my judgment for the final build, and then there's going to be a ton of updates. I mean, this is going to be something that's going to be continued to be worked on. Probably it'll never. You could probably never get something like this perfect. You can just continue to work on it, and I think once the community and developers are also involved, we have something really great on the horizon here. Well, let's go park somewhere. We'll do the shutdown real quick, and I will leave you guys be until the next video. If you like what you're seeing, make sure to subscribe and leave me a comment. Been trying to read and answer all the comments. Been very difficult though, with all the influx of requests and comments going on, and the simulator has really changed the engagement for this channel, because a lot more masses of people interested in this than, say, just doing a X-Plane 11 video or something at this point. Following this taxiway, it looks like it ends at the grass there, so I'll let it be. That's where we'll stop. Not going off any checklist right now, not a physical one, just kind of doing this off the cuff. Set our parking brake, turn our avionics off. Always good to do on start and end shut down, so you don't short anything out. Pull our mixture. Oh, and I forget, as soon as you shut the plane down, you get this menu. And basically, if you want your landings logged, I found you have to kind of shut the plane down, or it may not log your landing. And you do have the option to continue, which we'll do because we still have a couple things to turn off. But pulling the mixture brought us up to this menu here, showing us our total flight time, total hours logged so far, and the landing that we did. But yeah, we can turn the beacon off. Actually, you get the magnetos before the battery switches, but we'll go ahead and get them now. Haven't found a way to open the doors just yet. I'm sure that's something that would be coming. It's just, or I'm just not doing it right. But normally there's a click spot right here on the handle, but it hasn't been working. But it'd be nice to get that door open soon. But yeah, that's the cockpit. That's the gist. Looking good. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Thanks everybody for watching again. I love you all. Thanks for the suggestion. See you next time.